Hello everyone, welcome to the new video in the series of calculator app. And in this video we will handle all the actions which we are sending from our this UI screen. So in the previous video we have defined all these actions which are expected to be from this UI. So now we will create our for our home screen. We will create a home view model to handle all these actions and perform the relevant calculations or perform relevant things against each action. So to use home view model with compose, we need this dependency. So you can get that from this video description below. So copy that from here, and we will go to our app level Gradle file, and in here we will add that dependency. And sync the project, and after syncing we will create a new file, new class, named as HomeViewModel. This would be extend from ViewModel, and in this we have the UI state which we have defined, named as HomeUiState. So here we will create a private data member named as UiState, which would be mutable state flow, and initial will be empty UiState, and we will expose the public variant of this UI state, which would be immutable. So UI state dot as state flow. And now we need to handle these actions, home actions. So here we will create a public method named as onAction, which have the parameter homeAction. And in here we will use when expression, press Alt Enter, and add remaining branches. And these are the branches that we need to handle. And so let's start with the simple one. Let's say when user tap on any number, then we want to present that number in here. So for that, here we have number action. So we will create a method named as enterNumber, which will get the value from this action. Now we will press Alt Enter and create this function, and in this function we will update our UI state. So our new UI state would be derived from our current UI state. So value dot copy, and in this we will update this, set this value to string, and to update our UI state we will use mutable state flow, this object. So UI state dot update new UI state. And now we need to go to our home screen, and in our home screen here we will pass the view model here. So view model, home view model. This view model method is coming from the dependency which we have added in start of the project. And now we need to remove these things from here because these are not needed. Now in here we will get the UI state from our view model dot UI state collect as state dot value. So we have passed our UI state here, and the next is we need to perform receive these actions which are coming from this button. So here we will do onAction view model dot on action and pass it then new action. And we can call this method in this way, and also another way which is more clean to read is that in this way. So in this way this method will be called, and what will happen is the parameter value which is coming from this lambda function will be passed as a parameter to this on action method. So yeah, and next is we are getting some error here, so for time being we won't see any preview anymore, so let's comment this for some time. We will uncomment this while refactoring and refactor our code to make it more readable and understandable. So right now we have our view model instance, and UiState and on action are been received in our view model. So now we will go to our home screen and call this and use the home screen here and remove this code of block. Actually there is some mistake here, we don't need to remove this scaffold. So home screen and remove this code because it's not in use anymore, and here it's showing us error that this inner padding should be used. So for that we will use box here and consume that padding here. Okay, that's it. So now let's verify that our number is working as number entry is reflected as expected. Okay, so press 5 is shown, 6 is shown, 3, 2. Number entry is working, but the issue is that let's say if we want to add 45 and after pressing 4 I press 5, then it will replacing that 4 with the new value. So for that we will go to our home view model, and in here we just need to append that value 1 with the coming value. So for that we will use score function here and it dot copy it dot value 1 plus value. So in this way our value will be appended. Okay, so let's now write 45, 4 and 5, 6. Okay, so now these are working, and the next is let's say if we want to remove that one, so by pressing this backspace button this should be removed, but and right now as we haven't handled that backspace action, so that's why we have our app is crashed. So this is because this to do that we need to implement that. So here we will create another method named as backspace. Press Alt Enter, and in here we will remove this last digit from this value. So new UI state. Let anti-copy value 1 dot drop last. So we just need to remove the last digit from this one and update the UI state. So now let's run and verify this backspace operation or action. Okay, so the 4, 5, 6 by pressing backspace, it's working as expected. Okay, and next is when user tab on any of this operation, then we need to show that operation, but currently it's crashing. So we will start with this plus operation. So in here we have operation action, so we will create method named as enterOperation and pass the action value in it, and press Alt Enter and create that function. And in that function what we will do is we will update the operation value. So here we will create a new UiState value dot copy, and operation would be this new value which we are getting from here. And now we will update the UiState, new UiState. Now let's run and verify this operation. Okay, so now after entering any number 5, and if we tap on any operation, then that operation will be shown after the first value. So now let's complete our operation of plus operation for 2 numbers. So let's say after that as we have one operation added which is plus, then after that if user tap any number, then our value should be entered for the second value. So for that, in our enterNumber we apply a check here. If UiState.value.operation node is equal to null, then we will update the first value, and if it is not null, then we will update the first value, and if it is if it is null, then we will update first value. If it is not null, then we will update the second value. So here this condition, let's give a meaningful name to this condition. We will create a variable here, should update value 1, and if it is null, then we should update the value 1. Okay, so now let's run and verify this. 2 plus 3. Now it's working as expected. Now let's verify this backspace. This backspace is not working as what we want. Let's say if okay, this also have not been implemented. So let's say if let's first complete this 2 plus 2 operation. Let's say 2 plus 2. If we type these numbers, then our result will be shown here. So here we will create another variable, actually another method named as calculateResult, and in that we will get value 1, UiState.value value 1, and convert it to integer, and same for value 2. And calculate the result. So at this time we are only doing covering initially we will cover the plus operation. So value 1 plus value 2, and update the UiState. So new UiState result should be this result, and we will Again, we need to convert this into string because in UI state we have the string value for result. And now update the UI state. Now we will call this method while entering the enter number. When user entering the second number, this is the code will be executed when user will be entering the second number. At the end of this, we will calculate the result. So let's run and verify our result. So now if I type here 2 plus 2, then our result is shown here. And now we will manage how to perform backspace operation on a particular value which we want. So in our backspace, before working on backspace, we may have noticed that there is some code which is repeating in each function again and again. Whenever we want to update the UI state, then we are writing a significant amount of code repetitively by repeating itself. So here what we will do is we will create a method named as updateUiState. In that we will pass two values. Value 1 which is the nullable, value 2 which will be nullable, and then the result third value will also require, which is the result. This is also nullable. So in our this method we will copy this code of block, paste it in here, and in here what we will do is if value 1 is not null, then we will use this value, and if it is null, then we use else operator, and again we will set this value 1 to the value, and same for the other. And for last one is result. Why we have made these parameters nullable? This is because it might be possible that at some point we need to call this method to set the value 1 only. So in that case, new updated value will be set in our UI state, and for both value 2 and value and result, because these will be null, so in that case the previous value will be used in for the new state. So that's why we made them nullable. So we can use this here. Let's say here we have the value, updated value, and UI state dot value, and copy this portion from here. This is our updated value 1, and we will call our method here update UI state. Value 1 is equal to updated value, and actually we need to also provide the default value, which is should be null. Now we can call this method by passing any single parameter. So here we are updating the value 1, and in here we are updating the value 2. So I just remove this code of block to this point and remove this and rename it as updated value 2, and call the method update UI state. Value 2 is equal to updated value 2, and also call this method here. So just remove this section. Actually, need this section only. So we have updated value of 1, and now update our UI state. Value 1 is equal to updated value 1, and for our this operation we will define another method, because when we cannot cover this by setting it nullable with this method. This is because our operation is nullable in our UI state. So here we will copy this method, update operation in UI state, and in here we only have one parameter named as operation, and this won't have any default value. So operation is equal to operation, and this is operation enum, and we can remove this. Okay, so now we will call this method update operation UI state in UI state. Update operation in UI state and pass a value in it. And now our code is seems to be more clean. So let's run and verify that our previous things which we have implemented are working as expected. Okay, so 2 backspace is working, 2 plus 2 result 4 is working. Okay, so now we need to work on this backspace and clear the text, all the value 1, value 2, operation and result. And for backspace we want that our when we have these values, and if at this stage if I press the back button, then this value 2 digits will be removed. So in our backspace method we apply a check here. Let's say if should apply on value 2, and this is the case if value 2 is not empty, and if it is not empty, then we need to apply that backspace operation on the value 2. So in this here we have updated value 2 would be and update the UI state value 2, updated value 2, and return from here. And the second case is if UI state dot value our operation is not null, then we need to apply that from this. So here we will update the operation in UI state and make it null, and we need to make our this parameter nullable, because we can set null to this operation. Okay, and set it null and return from here. And the last one is should apply on value 1. So I will copy this one from here and paste it in here and use value 1. If it is not empty, then apply on value 1. Okay, so this is it. So let's run and verify this. Okay, so now here if I tap 2 plus 3, press backspace, then in that case this 3 would be removed. So by pressing that, this is removed, plus and 2 is removed. So let's increase the number. 2 plus 3 5 and 3 6 8. Okay, and now pressing the back button would remove the correct order. The one thing which we noticed that when we remove the value, then our result is not changing. So we also need to change our result if we are removing any digit from our second value. So for that, in here we will do it. So in here we will call the calculate result method, and in our this method we are doing the calculation, right? And if it is empty, in our calculate result method, if value 1 is empty, actually if value 2 is empty, then we will clear the result. So if UiState dot value 2, if it is empty, then we will clear the result and return it from here. No, actually this won't work as expected because calculation. Yeah, this will work. So let's run and verify this. Okay, so 23 plus 22. 23, and by pressing back, this is updating as expected. So yeah, result is updating by pressing the back button. Now we need to apply this clear button. So in here, perform clear, create this method, and in this we will update the UI state and reset the value to empty. And also set the operation to null. So this is what we need to do in this section. And next is, let's run and verify. So 23 plus 65 and equal to is working. Now we need to perform all of these operations when any of these arithmetic option is selected. So let's say if we want to apply subtract operation, so we need to do that because we haven't handled it yet. So in here, in our calculate result method, here we just only doing the plus operation. So in this we will use when condition here. First get the operation from the UI state, and in here we will use the when condition. As our operation is an even, so we can press Alt Enter and get all the remaining branches which are possible. And in here we will do the plus operation, subtract, multiply, divide, and in here we will do the find the percentage, and for that what we will do is we will divide the value 2 by 100 and multiply it with the value 1, and otherwise we will return from here. So now let's run and verify our operations. So 3 minus 2 is working, 3 multiplied by 2 is working, 3 divided by 2 is also working. And if we want to know the percentage of let's say percentage of 10, what is the 80% of this one? This is the 8. Actually it's not working because we let me verify the formula again. Okay, so the issue was that we need to use a decimal point here because if we don't using that then this division will provide the 0, and 0 multiplied by any value is 0. So let's run and verify again. So here let's say we have 10 value, then the 80% of this value would be 8. So 80% of value is 8. So all of our operations are working as expected, and one thing which is not working as expected is, let's say if we add two decimal values, let's say 1 point, actually we need to also incorporate the decimal here because we haven't added it yet. So here we will write a method named the enterDecimalPoint, and in this first we will verify that where we need to place that decimal point. Let's say if we have 23, and if we press the decimal point, then the value should be added to this value. So let's do with the first one. So value, updated value 1 is UiState dot value 1 and add the decimal point in it. And there might be also the case that this value already contains the value. So in that case, what we will do is, if value 1 already contains decimal point, so here we will UiState dot value 1. Does it contains decimal point? If it's not, then we will add the decimal point in it. So let's run and verify the first one, then we will move to the next check. Okay, so here 23.2, and as we have already have the decimal point here, and if I type it again, then it won't be added in and that. So this is the first case, and the second case is, let's say we have a second we are entering our second value, and at this point if I add the decimal point, then that decimal point should be added in this value. So in that case, what we will do is, if UiState dot value 2 is not empty, let's do it in this way. Should is not empty, and our second check is if UiState dot value contains decimal point. Let's move it into a variable just like this. This value 2 already contains the decimal point. If not, then we will add the decimal point. So here updated value 2 would be UiState dot value 2 and append the decimal point and update the UI state like this and return it from here. This is the second case which we have covered, and another case would be that if let's say let's run and verify this, then we will move to the next another check. Okay, so here let's say we have 23.2 plus 3. Okay, what happened here? So we have a crash here at this line where we are converting that into the integer. So here in our calculate result, we need to convert these values to decimal point values or float values, because our value can contains decimal point, it can also contains integer values. So currently we will convert that to double to avoid that crash, and we will further optimize this method to behave differently for integer values and return the integer result only. So let's run and verify again. So here 23.5 plus 1.525. So our decimal point is working, and if we add the decimal point at this stage, let's say 23 plus decimal point, then it's adding it in here. So we need to avoid that thing. So for that we apply another check in here, that if UiState dot value operation is equal to null, then we will return it from here, because we don't want to add the decimal point at this stage. So let's run and verify. Okay, so 23.5 plus, and let's say if we are at this stage and if we press the dot, then it's not adding in here. So this case have been covered. And other case is let's say if we don't have any value and we want to start with the decimal point. So here it's only showing single dot in here. So but for better representation we need to append 0 before this node, so it should be showing at 0 dot. So in here what we will do is if UiState dot value 1 is empty, then in that case we will do it like this, 0 dot, and update the value and return it from here. So let's run and verify. So here if we tap this decimal point, then we are seeing it perfectly. Now same should be for value 2. Let's say if value 2 is empty, then in that case we should append the decimal point in it and also append the 0 before that. So for that our condition should be if should apply on value 2, should apply first decimal on value 2. This would be the case if UiState dot value dot let if operation not is equal to null and value 2 is empty. So in that case we will update the value true and only show this 0.0 and decimal point in start and return it from here. So let's run and verify the app. Okay, so now if we press 23.2 plus and at this point if we tap decimal point and then it's working as expected. Okay, and next we work on this case. Let's say if we want to add only integer values but our result is showing in decimal point, so we need to resolve that, because if both of our two values are integer, then our result should be in integer. So for that, in our calculate result method, where it is, in our calculate result method we need to know that whether we convert our values to let's do it in here. In here we will first convert that value into integer if we need to. So here we will understand that we will make a check that is all input values are integer. So we can verify that through this if value 1 doesn't contain decimal point and also value 2 doesn't contain decimal point, then in that case our all values are integer. So what we will do is in that case is all values are integer, then in that case we will convert our result to integer first and then to string. But in the other case we will convert our result directly to string. So press Ctrl Alt L to reformat the code, and now this will work as expected. So 2 plus 3, and if I add the decimal point 2, then it's showing 5.0. So now our operations and result are working as expected. Now we need to see what are the remaining actions that we need to implement. The double zero and the calculate. So first start with the double zero. Enter double zero. Here we press Alt Enter and create this function, and in here we will apply a way that whenever we tap this double zero, then the double zero will be added in our value 1 or value 2 based on the certain conditions. So we have two ways to implement this function. The first way is in our enterNumber we have apply certain checks which we are following to update or add numbers, and we can copy this. Let's actually copy this one and paste it in here in our enterDoubleZero, and in here we will append the double zero. based on these conditions. And next is when user tap on this calculate, then we will make our, let's say, 2 plus 3. Then when user tap on this equal sign, then our this result will become the value 1, and this result, these values will be removed. So for that, we will create a method here, performCalculate, press Alt Enter, and in here we will get the result from UiState. Let's do it, name it as updated value 1 value dot result, and update the UiState. Value 1 would be updated value 1, and value 2 would be empty, and result also would be empty, and also remove the operation by making it null. So yeah, that's it. So let's run and verify these two buttons actions. Okay, so 3 plus 2, by pressing equal sign, our result become the value 1, and with the 00 we can add 00 in our values. So we have implemented all the possible actions which we have on the screen. So this is it for today's video. I hope this would be meaningful information for you. So if you have any query or question, then do let me know in the comments below. Thank you for watching. Bye.